Can everyone see me over here? All right, go ahead, Rebecca. All right, guys, my name is Miss Jackson. I'm going to be teaching you guys a lesson. It's called an interactive read aloud. Have you done those before? Well, I'm going to read a book. You can see I've got a bunch of little papers sticking out of here. When I get to each of these little papers, I'm going to stop and I'm going to ask you guys a question, or see if you guys can stop and think and maybe ask me a question. So, who here already does that? Who asks questions in their brains while they're reading? Good. So what's a type of question that you might ask? Yeah, where are they going? So if I'm reading Jack and Jill and they're going up a hill, I might wonder why they're going up the hill. Yeah, that's good. So before I read this book, I want to tell you guys of the classroom management strategy I'm going to do, and that's the clap if you can hear me. I don't know if you guys have done that before, but if there's any distractions or anything, I'll stop and I'll clap once. And when I clap once, you guys, if you're paying attention, should clap once right back. So we'll practice. Ready? There. So now I know everyone who clapped is paying attention, and that gets your attention back to me. And even if you weren't paying attention, if you hear your classmates clap, it might wake you up and you might start paying back attention. Just a second. I forgot to give you the rubric. Okay. Start where I left off. Can you hit it again, Rebecca? So has anyone read this book that they know of? So it's called Those Shoes. That's the title. Can anyone maybe guess what the book might be about? Shoes. So if you can see, I don't know if you can see all the way from over here, all of these three people and this big shoe over here, they all have these black shoes with the two white stripes. And this boy right here, he doesn't have those. He has the white shoes. So do you think the book is about these white shoes that he's wearing, or do you think it's about these shoes that everyone else has?
The black shoes everybody.
Yeah, the black shoes everyone else has, because if you can see, I'll walk around and show you guys. If you look at his face, he looks kind of sad, and everyone else is happy and showing off their new shoes. You see their faces? Yeah, you see he looks kind of sad. Yeah, they all have these black shoes on, and he doesn't have those. All right, so now that you guys have seen the cover page, what do you guys think the book might be about? Besides the shoes, what else do you think might happen?
Maybe the guy with the white shoes, he wants to get those shoes, so he's gonna get them.
Yeah, he might get the new shoes. The boy behind him.
I think those three kids are bullying because he has the white shoes.
Yeah, you see they're kind of talking to one another, and he's sad walking away from him. They might be bullying him. So this is one of my favorite books. And when I stop and ask you guys a question, if any of you have a question you might want to ask, or a question that pops into your reader brain, you guys can raise your hand and ask me the question too. Now, I was just asking you guys all of those questions. It gives you a better idea of what the book is about, what the characters are doing, and what might happen next. So even if the book hasn't told you the answer to a question yet, you can still ask it. I might be in the middle of the book and say, well, I really wonder what's going to happen next. And you can raise your hand and ask that, and then maybe your classmates can give you what they think might happen next. All right, those shoes. Everyone can see okay?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I have dreamed about those shoes. Black high tops, 2 white stripes. Grandma, I want them. Well, there's no room for want around here, just need, Grandma says. And what you need are new boots for winter. So, at line 2, it says, there's no room for want around here. What do you think that means?
It's something like he doesn't need, but she really want to have it.
Yeah, so she says she knows that he wants those shoes, but it's not about what he wants right now. It's about what he needs. And what he needs are winter boots so his feet stay warm in the winter. Brandon T comes to school in those shoes. He says he's the fastest runner now, not me. I was always the fastest runner before those shoes came along. Nate comes to school in those shoes. Antonio and I count how many times Nate goes to the bathroom. 7 times in one day, just so he can walk up and down the hall real slow. Why do you think he's walking up and down the hall real slow in his shoes?
Trying to show off.
Yeah, he wants to show off his new shoes. Next, Alan, Jacoby, and Terrence each get a pair. And if you look, everyone in the book on this page has those shoes except him. Then, one day in the middle of kickball, one of my shoes comes apart. It looks like you could use a new pair, Jeremy, Mr. Alfrey, the guidance counselor, says. He brings out a box of shoes and other stuff he has for kids who need things. He helps me find the only shoes that are my size. They're Velcro, like the ones that my little cousin Marshall wears. And they have an animal on them from a cartoon I don't think anyone in my class has even watched. So most of the kids would be excited about new shoes. I thought Jeremy wanted new shoes. Why isn't he excited about these Velcro shoes?
Because he wanted to know white and black shoes. He didn't want any other kinds of shoes.
Yeah, he wanted those black shoes. He didn't want those. He wanted the high tops that everyone had. He didn't want the animal shoes with Velcro on them. When I come back to the classroom, Alan Jacoby takes one look at my Mr. Alfrey shoes and laughs. And so does Terrence, Brandon T, and everyone else. The only kid not laughing is Antonio Parker. So when you said that the kids might be bullying him that he doesn't have those shoes, do you think you were right? Yeah, they're all laughing at him because he has the Velcro shoes. At home, Grandma says, "How kind of Mr. Alfrey." I nod and just turn my back. I am not going to cry about some dumb shoes, but when I'm writing my spelling words later, every word looks like the word shoes, and my grip is so tight on my pencil, I think it's about to bust. So I don't understand why Jeremy's gripping the pencil so tight. Why do you think he's doing that? William?
Because he doesn't want to shoes, maybe.
Well, how does that make him feel if he's gripping it so tight? Kind of mad because his grandma likes the shoes and is happy, and he knows that he should feel happy, but he feels mad. On Saturday, Grandma says, "Let's check out those shoes you're wanting so much. I've got a little bit of money set aside. It might be enough. You never know." At the store, Grandma turns those shoes over so she can check the price. When she sees it, she sits down heavy. "Maybe they wrote the price down wrong," I say. Grandma just shakes her head. So what questions can you ask yourself right now?
They probably, he wanted the shoes, but it said it was probably like a lot of money.
A lot of money. So you could ask the question, how much did the shoes cost? Or, I wonder if Grandma set enough money aside to get the shoes. Then I remember the thrift shops. Wait, what if there's a rich kid who outgrew his or got 2 pairs for Christmas and had to give one of them away? We ride the bus to the thrift shop. Black cowboy boots, pink slippers, sandals, high heels, every kind of shoes except the ones I want. We ride the bus to the second thrift shop. Not a pair of those shoes in sight. Around the corner is the third thrift shop, and I see something in the window. So what do you think he sees in the window? The shoes. How can you tell?
Because he was kind of surprised.
Yeah, he seemed surprised, and he already named all of these other shoes he saw, and he didn't want those. And look at what he sees. Black shoes with 2 white stripes, high tops, and they're in perfect shape. Only $2.50. Those shoes. My heart is pounding so hard as I take off my shoes and hitch up my baggy socks. How exciting, Grandma says. What size are they? I shove my foot into the first shoe. I curl my toes tight to get my heel in. What do you think that means?
They're too small.
They're too small. I don't know. I think they might fit. In the picture you see, he's really trying to get that shoe on. What do you think is going to happen?
Grandma's saying no, they're too small.
Well, they might bust.
They might bust, yeah. Grandma kneels on the floor and she feels my toes at the end of my shoe. Jeremy, she says, I can't spend good money on shoes that don't fit. I pull the other shoe and try to walk around. They're okay, I say. I'm holding my breath and praying my toes will just fall right off then and there. But my toes don't fall off. I buy them anyways with my own money and I squeeze them on and I limp to the bus stop. So I'm confused. Why did Jeremy get those shoes when they're so tight? He can't even walk.
Maybe because that, like, he's wanted them for a while, and he finally can get a pair that works.
He can finally afford a pair, and even if they're too small, he wants them so bad that he's hoping that his toes will fall off. So let's stop before I flip the page. Let's predict. What do you think is going to happen next? You think he's going to wear them to school? You think he's going to...
I think he's gonna wear them to school because in that page, he said
Yeah, you think he's going to wear them to school? You think his feet are going to hurt? Yeah. At home a few days later, that's a good thing. At home a few days later, Grandma puts a new pair of snow boots in my closet. And she doesn't say a word about my 2 big feet shuffling around in my 2 small shoes. Sometimes shoes stretch, I say, and Grandma just gives me a hug. Why don't you think Grandma said anything? She put the shoes in the closet, didn't say anything, and then he said, hey, the shoes might stretch. She didn't say anything. Why don't you think she told him the shoes are not going to stretch?
He doesn't want to tell him that he got to wear them shoes for winter now instead of...
Yeah, she doesn't want to tell him that the shoes are not going to stretch. Have you guys ever had a pair of shoes stretch big enough? No. Maybe a little bit, but not enough. I check every single day, and the shoes do not stretch. I have to wear my Mr. Alfrey shoes to school instead. One day during math, I glance at Antonio's shoes. One of them is taped up. His feet look smaller than mine. What do you think that means? Yeah, if they ripped, his shoes might be too small too. Why do you think he noticed that his feet look smaller than his? Why do you think that Jeremy noticed that Antonio's feet look smaller than his? Yeah, the shoes might be too big for him. After school, I head to the park and think. Antonio is there, the only kid who did not laugh at my Mr. Alfred shoes. We shoot baskets, and a loose piece of tape on Antonio's shoe smacks the concrete every time he jumps. And I just think, I am not going to do it. We leap off of the swings. I am not going to do it. We race from one end of the playground to the other. I am not going to do it, I say. Do what? Antonio said. So what is he not going to do?
Get them, ask them for his shoes and trading them for,
Yeah, they might could trade shoes. If Jeremy noticed that his feet were too small and the shoes that he got are too small, what might happen? He might give his friend his new shoes. Grandma calls me for supper and invites Antonio over too. After supper, he spies my shoes. How come you don't wear these to school? Antonio says. I just shrug. My hands are sweaty and I can feel him wishing that those shoes were his. That night, I'm awake for so long thinking about Antonio. When the morning comes, I try on my shoes one last time. Before I can change my mind, the shoes are already in my coat. Snow's beginning to fall as I come across the street to Antonio's apartment. I put the shoes in front of his door and I push the doorbell and I run. Jeremy wanted those shoes so bad. Why did he drop them off on Antonio's doorstep? Yeah, they were too small for him. I wonder why he rang the doorbell and then ran away. Why do you think he didn't give them to his friend? Yeah, he didn't want him to know it was him. He might not take them if he knew. At school, Antonio is smiling big in his brand new shoes. I feel happy when I look at his face, but then I feel mad when I look at my Mr. Alfrey shoes. So now look, he's hanging out with everybody else who's got those shoes. But later, when it's time for recess, something happens. We go outside and there's snow everywhere. Leave your shoes in the hall and change into your boots, the teacher announces. Leave your shoes in the hall. And then I remember what I have in my backpack. What does he have in his backpack?
the boots.
The boots. What about the boots? Are they old thrift store boots? They're what? They're brand new boots.
That his grandma had put in his closet.
Yeah. He has brand new boots. New black boots no kid has ever worn before. Black boots that did not come from the thrift store. Standing in line to go to recess, Antonio leans forward and says, "Thanks." I smile and give him a nudge. How did Antonio know?
Because he knew they were too small for him maybe, and he knew that he's the only one that didn't wear the shoes.
Yeah, he's the only one that didn't wear those shoes, and he went to his house and saw that he had the shoes. Then he says, "Let's race." And they're racing off in the snow.
And you see he's faster.
Yep, he said he was the fastest boy in class. So when I was reading, I would stop every so many pages and ask a question, and you guys often knew the answers. Do you think that asking the questions helped you guys to understand the story better? Yeah. So how do you think that it helps you to kind of predict what's going to happen next? Do you guys wonder, did you guys wonder? I wonder why he's saying, "I am not going to do it." Were you wondering what he meant?
Yeah.
Then you thought about it, and you kept reading, and you realized you knew what it was going to happen. So now I'm going to pass around this graphic organizer to everyone. You'll write your name, the date, and the questions on here say, who's the main character? What did the main character want? What was the problem? How did the character solve the problem? And what was the resolution to the problem? So a resolution, do you know what a resolution is? It's how something got settled. So what the end result is. And there might be some different answers to the questions, and that's okay. You can put whatever you think is best. I'm gonna go ahead and start passing these out to you guys. We start on. you're done, flip your paper over so I can know that you're done. And if you need help, you can raise your hand. So the boy, his name is Jeremy. So who is the main character? Who does the story focus on the most? What did the main character want? What did he want in the story? Yes, that's how you spell Jeremy. What was the problem when he was facing the story? So what do you think was the main problem? He wanted to what was the resolution to the problem? So that's like, how was the problem solved? What was the end result? What was the resolution? The resolution. So how did the story end? He had bring you what? When y'all are done, take your paper over and we'll go over it. If you don't know how to spell a word, just try your best. I'm sure we can figure out what it means. The resolution is like how the story ended, what was done to solve the problem. But how was the problem solved? What did he end up doing when he went How did he try to solve the problem?
And with the fire alarm, that would be going on.
Yeah, it's not a fire alarm.
I know, it kind of sounds like. But yeah, can you go?
What was the resolution to the problem? So like how did the story end? What is the problem solved? Alright guys, we're gonna go ahead and talk about the questions. It's okay if you didn't finish, you can write down what we talked about and talk about it with us. So the first one, who was the main character? Jeremy. So what did the main character want? What did Jeremy want in this book? What kind of shoes? What, he wanted the Mr. Alfred shoes?
No!
No, what kind of shoes did he want? The black and white shoes. Those shoes that the story's talking about. Those shoes. Well, it says, what was the problem? Why couldn't he just go to the store and get these shoes like everybody else?
Because they were expensive.
Yeah, they were expensive. There's a bunch of problems in this story. The first one could be that these shoes were expensive.
Or these shoes didn't fit.
Or, yeah, when he went to the thrift store, the shoes that he found didn't fit. What could be another problem? Did anyone else write anything different?
I said Johnny wanted the new shoes.
Yeah, he wanted the new shoes. That was a problem.
Jeremy did not have the shoes.
Yeah, he didn't have those shoes, and he really couldn't get them brand new either.
Or have the new shoes.
Yeah, they didn't. The shoes that he got didn't fit. So, how did the character try to solve the problem? How did he try to get the shoes that he wanted? Yeah, so she said he gave the shoes that he got to his friend. That's how he solved a different problem. That's how he solved Antonio's taped up shoe problem. So that was a good answer. Did anyone write down how he tried to solve the problem in a different way?
I put by getting the shoes that were too small.
Yeah, he bought the thrift store shoes that were $2.50 and they were way too small. Did anyone else write something different? Yeah, the shoes that he wanted were expensive.
The shoes wouldn't fit, and then when they didn't fit and he kept trying to stretch, he gave them to his friend.
Yep, he tried to get them to stretch. That's how he tried to solve the problem. He tried on those shoes every single day.
He solved the problem, well, that was getting the new shoes.
Yeah, he did. He solved the problem by getting the new shoes, but what was wrong with the shoes that he got?
They were too small.
Yeah, they were just too small. They just didn't fit right. So, what was the resolution to the problem? This is the big question. How did the story end? What ended up happening? How was it a happy ending in the end?
But the boots that his grandma had left him and made him run faster.
Yeah, the boots that his grandma left him made him run faster. What was so special about the boots?
They were new.
They were brand new. They weren't from the thrift store. They weren't $2.50 boots. They were brand new boots that no one had ever worn before. Did anyone write anything different?
That he had new snow boots.
Yeah, he got new snow boots. Anyone else? Go ahead.
That he wanted brand new shoes, but he got boots. So then after his
That's it.
got the boots, for
Yeah.
him,
So
he
she's,
was able to get back to his roots, and he was able to play.
that's good. So she said he wanted new shoes, and at the end of the day, he got new boots. So even though they weren't the shoes that he wanted, he still got new shoes, right? All right, so I've got one final question. And there's no right or wrong answer. It's kind of a big question. And I just want to hear your ideas and how you can predict and use your reader brains. Why do you think that those shoes were so important to Jeremy? Why did he want them so bad? That's all he could think about.
Everyone was like wearing them.
Yeah, everyone else in his class had them. There was the one boy who walked up and down to the bathroom how many times? 7 times just to show his shoes. Does anyone else have any ideas?
He wanted his shoes because everyone else had those shoes. They were all
Yeah, those are like the popular shoes. So what about when it comes around Christmas time and everybody gets this brand new toy? What's gonna happen? You're gonna want that brand new toy, right? Or if Logan comes to school and he's got a brand new book bag, you guys might want what? A brand new book bag. So today we learned about Jeremy and how badly he wanted what?
The shoes.
The shoes, the black shoes with white stripes. You all did really good answering the questions as we read and once we finished. Make sure this one worked.